One of the most significant allegations in Baldoni's lawsuit is that Lively sought to gain control over the editing process of the film.
You're not kidding when you say this is getting messier. The author of that book deleting her Instagram account, another who plays Baldoni's sister in the film, being harassed online.
Blake Lively, once hailed as one of Hollywood's most glamorous figures, is now at the center of a media firestorm that has audiences and insiders alike questioning everything they thought they knew about her. The cracks in her meticulously crafted image began to show in recent months, and with every new revelation, the story has only grown more shocking. But how did we get here? How did Blake Lively, the blonde bombshell who seemed to have it all, fame, fortune, the perfect Hollywood marriage, become the villain in one of the most explosive celebrity dramas we've seen in years?
Well, it's still getting messier and messier in the It Ends With Us feud between co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Let's rewind to where it all started, the set of It Ends With Us, a film that was supposed to be a career milestone for both Blake and her co-star and director Justin Baldoni. Instead, it became a battleground that exposed alleged manipulation, control, and power plays behind the scenes. Blake Lively has been accused of hijacking the production, writing scenes to suit her vision, and attempting to wrest creative control from Baldoni in ways that insiders have described as unprecedented. And the fallout? Absolutely catastrophic.
At all. I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaints, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint.
From the outset, the whispers of tension on set were hard to ignore. Blake's behavior was reportedly raising eyebrows among the cast and crew, with some insiders suggesting that she acted as though she owned the production. Despite only being an actress and executive producer, she allegedly overrode the director's decisions, forced script changes, and even dictated creative aspects of the film that were far beyond her job description. It's worth noting that these claims have been vehemently denied by Lively's camp, but the industry insiders who've spoken out against her paint a very different picture, one of a power-hungry diva who couldn't resist the urge to take over.
New video released by lawyers for actor Justin Baldoni showed unedited footage from the filming of It Ends With Us.
The turning point, however, came not during the filming, but afterward, when the drama spilled over into the public eye. On February 22nd, The Hollywood Reporter dropped a bombshell with a cover story that sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. The cover itself was nothing short of incendiary, featuring an illustration of Blake launching a slingshot at Baldoni, a not-so-subtle metaphor for the alleged sabotage she attempted. What was meant to be a puff piece promoting the movie turned into a full-blown exposé, complete with anonymous sources detailing Blake's controlling behavior and the chaos she reportedly caused on set.
That Justin won't be bullied by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So his lawyer told us that their recent court filings show how scared they...
Social media, predictably, exploded. Fans who had once adored Blake turned on her in droves, with hashtags denouncing her trending for days. The backlash was swift and merciless, with many accusing her of weaponizing movements meant to empower women for her own gain. One fan wrote, "From the very beginning of her career, she's never been a Hollywood darling. She's always been a Hollywood bully." Harsh words, but they reflect the growing sentiment among those who feel betrayed by the actress's alleged actions. And the numbers don't lie. Blake's follower count on social media has been plummeting at an unprecedented rate. Since September, she's reportedly lost over 864,000 followers, and the decline shows no sign of slowing down. Even her husband, Ryan Reynolds, hasn't been spared. He's lost nearly 400,000 followers himself, presumably as collateral damage from the controversy. Meanwhile, Baldoni, who has been positioned as the victim in this saga, has seen a surge in support, gaining hundreds of thousands of new followers as fans rally behind him.
We can now all agree that the moral crimes committed here by Ryan Reynolds against Justin Baldoni have amounted to high treason.
But let's talk about Baldoni for a moment. While Blake's image is in freefall, Justin Baldoni has managed to come out of this scandal looking like an absolute saint. His public response has been measured, his demeanor calm and collected. He hasn't engaged in mudslinging or dramatic public statements. Instead, he's let the facts speak for themselves, or so his supporters claim. The contrast between the two couldn't be starker. While Blake is portrayed as spiraling, throwing tantrums, and scrambling to salvage her reputation, Baldoni is literally out surfing in Hawaii, the picture of unbothered serenity.
I will say, it is also interesting that the defendants in this answer also admit that they sent text messages. I mean, when Lively produced copies of these text messages that she got through a subpoena, there's really nowhere else to go on that. You got to admit that you sent these, but it doesn't mean that Baldoni and the other defendants will agree to the context or the characterization that was laid out by Blake Lively. For instance,
The Hollywood Reporter's cover story wasn't just a blow to Blake's public image. It was the spark that ignited a firestorm of legal and PR battles. In December, Blake filed a lawsuit accusing Baldoni of inappropriate behavior on set, allegations that he has categorically denied. Baldoni responded with a countersuit accusing Blake and her team of defamation and civil extortion. The legal drama has since escalated, with both sides hurling accusations and releasing receipts that only seemed to muddy the waters further. One of the most damning pieces of evidence against Blake is the revelation that she allegedly erased key text messages from her legal filings to strengthen her case. Baldoni's team, however, kept meticulous records, and the inconsistencies in Blake's version of events have only added fuel to the fire. Legal analysts have described her case as full of contradictions and strategic omissions, with one expert calling it a textbook example of how not to handle a high-profile lawsuit.
at this scene that was captured on tape, you'll see there's nothing nefarious going on. She says this actually proves her point. There's an argument that she is hiding her discomfort with what he's saying and doing, and she's just trying to finish the scene like any kind of professional. Which way you take it, which way you perceive it, again, that'll be up to a jury or the fact finder.
And then there's the PR disaster. Blake's attempts to control the narrative have backfired spectacularly. Her tearful interviews and victim statements have been met with skepticism, with critics accusing her of playing the victim to deflect from her own actions. YouTube bloggers, T-channels, and social media influencers have been dissecting her every move, racking up millions of views and further tarnishing her image. One particularly savage comment under a popular YouTube video pointed out that Blake is embarrassing herself yet again by always hogging the spotlight and dominating the conversation, even when some questions are aimed for someone else. Fans have also pointed out the irony in Blake's feminist rhetoric, calling her out for allegedly using her gender as a shield to avoid accountability. One commenter noted that she claims to stand for women's empowerment, but her actions show she's only interested in empowering herself at the expense of others. And where does Ryan Reynolds fit into all of this? The actor, known for his quick wit and likable persona, has found himself caught in the crossfire. His attempts to defend Blake have been met with criticism, with some accusing him of enabling her behavior. One particularly scathing comment read, "Reynolds isn't innocent. He uses a huge cinema franchise to ridicule Baldoni, to cosplay destroying him. And he was helped by Hugh Jackman, another cheater, and the rest of the staff were cowards and just watched, glad it wasn't them." The backlash against Ryan has been so intense that even his carefully curated public image is starting to crack. His offhand joke about the scandal during the SNL 50th anniversary special, "Great, why, what have you heard?" was widely criticized as tone-deaf and dismissive. Instead of diffusing the situation, it only added fuel to the fire, with many accusing him of making light of serious allegations.
Here, right? So Baldoni says this was all an effort to hijack the film to get her way. Lively claims she was the victim of harassment in a hostile work environment. Not surprising.
Meanwhile, Hollywood itself has begun to distance itself from Blake. Studios are reportedly reevaluating their involvement with her, with some projects being delayed or shelved entirely. Insiders describe her as a massive liability, with one source saying nobody wants to work with someone who hijacks productions and causes this kind of chaos. The industry's message is clear: Blake Lively is no longer worth the risk. As the scandal continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the Blake Lively we thought we knew is gone, replaced by a polarizing figure who has divided fans, colleagues, and the industry itself. And as for Justin Baldoni, he's not just surviving, he's thriving, with a wave of public support that shows no signs of slowing down. But is this truly the end for Blake? Or does she still have a chance to turn things around? Only time will tell.
But this is such a interpretation of perspective, because I watched the footage, and I'm sure we all have, and it's very easy.
The unraveling of Blake Lively's professional and personal life has become the kind of scandal Hollywood hasn't seen in years. But what's truly fascinating is how the fallout is carving out a ripple effect that touches everyone close to her, and no one is feeling the heat more than her husband, Ryan Reynolds. For a man who has spent over a decade cultivating an image as the effortlessly charming, universally adored A-lister, this situation is exposing a side of Reynolds that fans and colleagues alike aren't sure they like. And let's be honest, when you're married to someone embroiled in a controversy this massive, staying in the shadows isn't an option. Ryan's involvement, whether intentional or not, has become a headline of its own.
We just broke a shocking story. there is a rift, and I think that is an understatement of a word, a rift.
In the initial days of the scandal, Ryan appeared to stand firmly by Blake's side, projecting the image of a loving, supportive husband. But as the accusations against her mounted and the public turned against her, his unwavering loyalty began to raise eyebrows. It's one thing to support your partner. It's another to get dragged down with them. Ryan's attempts to shield Blake, both privately and publicly, are now being viewed by some as enabling behavior, and in the court of public opinion, that's not a good look. Fans once saw him as the witty, self-aware guy who could do no wrong. Now they're asking questions like, how much did Ryan know about Blake's alleged manipulation behind the scenes?
So remember that what Taylor had told Justin was that Blake herself, she said, was Khaleesi, who was the queen in Game of Thrones, and Ryan, her husband, and Taylor were her dragons. Her best friend, although I think best friend is now past tense.
What's even more damaging is the perception that Ryan may have played an active role in escalating the feud with Justin Baldoni. Baldoni's legal team has claimed that Ryan's influence extended beyond mere moral support for his wife, suggesting that he used his considerable Hollywood clout to back Blake's creative demands on the set of It Ends With Us. One alleged incident involved a meeting at Blake and Ryan's New York home, where Baldoni reportedly felt cornered by the power couple and their close friend, Taylor Swift. According to legal filings, Baldoni left that meeting feeling pressured to accept Blake's rewritten scenes, a move that he believes was orchestrated to undermine his authority as the film's director. Whether or not these claims hold water, the damage to Ryan's reputation is already being done. The idea that he might have used his influence to strong-arm a fellow actor-director is a far cry from the affable persona he spent years projecting.
Thomas, first and foremost, I should tell you that I have a major scoop regarding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, their newest legal plan, or something that they were attempting.
And let's not forget the moments where Ryan's attempts to inject humor into the situation have backfired spectacularly. His quip during the SNL 50th anniversary special, meant to add a lighthearted spin to the controversy, only served to amplify the backlash. Fans were quick to call him out for making jokes about a situation that many view as anything but funny. "Ryan, read the room," one commenter wrote. "This isn't the time for your usual sarcasm." Another added, "For someone who's built his career on being relatable, this feels incredibly out of touch." It's clear that Ryan's usual playbook of charm and humor isn't working this time, and the public is starting to see cracks in the armor.
And we also need to stop being so ADHD where we're only into stories at the very beginning of them and we never see them through. Like, we need to bring back true investigative reporting.
While Ryan grapples with his own fallout, the industry itself is taking stock of the situation, and the results aren't looking good for either him or Blake. Hollywood is a place that thrives on relationships and reputations, and when those are called into question, the impact can be swift and unforgiving. Rumors are swirling that some of Ryan's upcoming projects are being quietly reevaluated, with studios nervous about the potential backlash of associating with him during such a volatile time. And for Blake, the consequences are even more severe. Multiple sources have suggested that her future in Hollywood is hanging by a thread, with producers hesitant to attach her to major projects for fear of the controversy overshadowing the work itself.
Okay, so for those of you, just a quick two-liner for those of you not following it. They started this movie, It Ends With Us, about domestic violence. It was his movie that he bought the rights for from the woman who wrote the book, Colleen Hoover. Then he managed to convince Blake Lively to star in it with him, and all hell broke loose.
But amidst all this chaos, Justin Baldoni continues to play his cards carefully. While Blake and Ryan are perceived as scrambling to control the narrative, Baldoni has taken a measured approach, maintaining his composure and letting the evidence speak for itself. His strategy of releasing unedited footage and text exchanges has been effective in casting doubt on Blake's claims, and his refusal to engage in public mudslinging has only bolstered his image as the wronged party. Fans and industry insiders alike are taking notice, with many praising Baldoni for how he's handled the situation. That said, Baldoni isn't walking away from this unscathed. While his public image may be on the rise, the financial and emotional toll of this scandal is undeniable. Reports suggest that he's already lost out on several high-profile projects due to the ongoing legal battles, and the stress of the situation is clearly taking its toll. In a recent interview, Baldoni admitted to feeling exhausted and like an imposter, a rare moment of vulnerability that has only endeared him further to his supporters. He's also been vocal about the impact this has had on his family, describing the past year as one of the most challenging of his life. It's a stark reminder that even the so-called winners in scandals like these pay a heavy price.
Good morning, George. This is a big mess for everyone involved. The legal drama playing out in multiple courts now, literally from coast to coast, and all kinds of people close to these stars, from personal trainers to friends like Taylor Swift, finding their names mentioned as part of this ongoing fight.
As the legal battles rage on, the collateral damage continues to pile up. Taylor Swift, who has long been one of Blake's closest allies, has found herself dragged into the narrative, much to the dismay of her fans. While her team has denied any rift between her and Blake, the mere fact that Taylor's name is being mentioned in legal documents is enough to raise questions. And then there's the rest of the It Ends With Us cast, many of whom have been caught in the crossfire. Isabella Ferrer, who played the younger version of Blake's character, has faced criticism for her perceived alignment with Blake during the film's promotions. A viral video compilation of Blake allegedly talking over Isabella during interviews has only added fuel to the fire, with fans accusing Blake of hogging the spotlight and overshadowing her co-star.
To it. And I think, the whole Hollywood glam, it's so glamorous and everything. Can you relate to the things they were saying about Hollywood? It's so easy to get seduced by the fame and the money and the glamour.
You see it all the time. That was one of my favorite things about the movie, were the subtle turns to their own transition into, like, the ego.
Even beyond the immediate players in this drama, the scandal is sending shockwaves through Hollywood as a whole. For an industry that's already grappling with questions about power dynamics and accountability, the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni feud serves as a cautionary tale of what happens when those dynamics go unchecked. It's a story that touches on so many of the issues currently dominating the cultural conversation: the misuse of influence, the weaponization of public narratives, and the fine line between ambition and arrogance. So what happens next? For Blake and Ryan, the path to redemption is unclear at best. Their efforts to control the narrative have largely backfired, leaving them with few options other than to hope the public's attention shifts elsewhere. For Baldoni, the challenge will be maintaining his newfound support while navigating the long road of legal battles ahead. And for Hollywood, this scandal is yet another reminder of the precarious nature of reputation in an industry where today's darling can become tomorrow's pariah.
2009 Glamour UK interview by Blake Lively. She was on the cover at the time, and in her interview, she admitted to trying to poison the cast of Gossip Girl, which is where she made her name, against her co-star Penn Badgley, who played her love interest, Dan Humphrey, on the show. She said, "At first I was so upset that they had hired him, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him."
As this saga continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the story is far from over. Will Blake and Ryan find a way to rebuild their reputations? Can Justin Baldoni truly emerge unscathed? And what does this scandal say about the state of Hollywood itself? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this ever-evolving drama. Trust us, this is one story you won't want to miss.